we blast live, we're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Wednesday, ladies.
Hump day? I had to do it. Come on.
Every week.
And look, Jeff is hating on my crystals, by the way. I just want to say.
I was telling her before the show, I got a bunch of rocks at my house.
These
They
have
magical
good
powers.
magic powers.
Yeah, mine are
not the
$100
ones-
each. They're all over the driveway. Whatever. Yeah, whatever makes you feel better. All right. Katie Couric is issuing, this is a serious topic here, a wake-up call to all women. So the 65-year-old just revealed that she's battling breast cancer. She was diagnosed in June after having a routine mammogram. She had the lump removed as well as radiation treatment. Katie wrote an essay and says that the diagnosis came after she had delayed her routine, her daily or checkup routine by 6 months. She wrote, "Please get your annual mammogram. I was 6 months late this time." Keep going with that prompter. Whatever. She's just giving a wake-up call to every woman out there saying she was a little bit late. I shudder to think what might have happened
Because
if she didn't.
Right, it can metastasize, it can grow within days, so you have to be careful. Real quick, if you didn't know, Katie Couric's first husband died of colon cancer in his 40s, and she famously in the 90s went on TV, I believe the Today Show, and did a colonoscopy on air. And it was sort of the first time people were talking openly about colonoscopies, and it changed the culture of that whole go get looked at. So what's funny to her is she spent so much time on that and ignored this part. So for women out there, just and men, look at the whole body and make sure you get ahead of the checkups and not behind, because it can be a huge delay.
You said the whole body and then ahead and behind. Like, you used it all.
Makes the whole
Heads,
thing.
shoulders, knees, and toes.
There you go.
Knees and toes.
I think it's easy to forget stuff or put stuff off. And so, she's just sending a wake-up call to anybody who hasn't scheduled their mammograms. It's time right now. Go do it. Because like me, I'll get so flustered. I'm doing one thing, Kinsley drops something, I forget about this, cancel it, put it off 2 weeks. It doesn't ever happen. And so that's the kind of thing where you can't put off anything, like your annual exams, your mammogram, whatever you have scheduled, your dentist appointment, because it could turn into a root canal and all it needed to be was a cavity.
Yeah.
So in her case, luckily she caught it and got it removed. But it's a warning sign to other people that are putting things off.
Yeah, the way that I tend to keep up with things is to have specific times that I do specific things. So October, I always get my mammogram because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm like, oh crap, it's October. Do I have an appointment for my mammogram? For my PAP or my annual, I'll go the month of my birthday. So I'm thinking about okay. But the dentist is considered such a luxury for a lot of people. All these things are considered a luxury for a lot of people. Make sure that you're finding out what programs are available to you, going to local clinics and state-funded programs. But the dentist is such a big one, and people think it's aesthetic, but really the dentist can be the first person to realize that there's something happening with you because it's manifesting itself in your mouth.
Absolutely. Wow.
So it's really important that you stay on top of your 6-month checkups or 1 year, however you're doing them, because that can be indicative of something greater.
Ironically enough, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. Isn't that weird?
What time is it?
It's at 4.
It's not at 2:30?
Oh, you set me up for that one. That was my favorite. I dropped the ball.
Softball.
Wow.
I'm confused.
You never heard David say 2:30? And every time he says 2:30, like when we're in break, it's 2:30 till we're back on the show. And I laugh every time. I go, tooth-hurdy. Like I say it every single day.
Every day.
Like you say hump day every Wednesday?
Okay.
I tried to give it to you.
Yeah, it was good. I dropped it. I don't know what's happening. All right. Anyways, I was going to say that it is a luxury, right? And don't put it off because you think if the doctor doesn't tell me, I must not have it. That's not a great way of thinking about things. And I've thought like that in the past too. You just got to go get it done. All right. So should we get sad when we send our kids off to school? That's exactly how David Letterman feels. Take a look.
You've been through that yourself, right? People go through this, the separation of the kid leaving home, and I thought it would be nothing, but it's devastating. Am I the only one that feels that way?
No.
So he's been gone a month today.
Well, Letterman isn't the only celeb that's sad about having an empty nest. Gwyneth Paltrow, Tori's favorite, said sending her daughter to college was like giving birth all over again.
I've never given birth, so I don't know if that's true.
That feels a little extreme to me as somebody that has given birth. I don't know. I mean, I'll be sad to see Kinsley go to college for sure, but I think more than sad, I'll be super excited that she's becoming a young woman and deciding what she wants to do with her future. I think that will be exciting to me, and I'll probably be the mom that like, you want me to come visit? I'll be there, all right? But also I'll be like letting her free. I feel like it's like letting a dove go out into the sky.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little less extreme to take your suitcase out of the trunk than a baby out of
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
I understand
it's
the
a little less
metaphor,
dramatic.
though.
I get it.
I don't think it was a wreath. Yeah.
I was there, so I just imagine.
I went to Michigan, which is far from D.C., right? And I chose that to get away from the family, thinking, good for me. And the day my mom left, I remember it very clearly, she turned a corner, and I saw her in the rearview mirror, like, wave, and I went this way, and she went that way. Probably top 3 scariest moments of my whole life.
Wow.
And also, like, I was fully alone. I didn't know anyone in Michigan. I didn't have a friend at Michigan. I had a random roommate. And it was like, I'm a very codependent person, as you guys all know. It was a very difficult time. And she said, bye. And I tried to be happy and excited about my new life, but I was terrified. Just terrified. Fair,
I think that's what I would be scared of, though.
Terrified.
Like, some of your experiences that you've shared over the past few years on the show in college.
Yeah, not good.
They weren't the greatest in the beginning, especially. And so that's something I would be terrified of as a mom. But you got to let your kid go through that, because now you're confident, you're strong, you do something in front of everyone every day that's vulnerable.
It's made me
so
who I
that
am,
is
right.
kind of like, it's part of that growth process that I think college sometimes lends itself to.
True. It did help me get where I am.
Were you nervous about going off to college, Erica?
Well, my parents dropped me off on a Saturday, and then I was in my mom's office just past the quad that following Monday, taking her to lunch. I don't know, for whatever reason, I have been, like, my mother will say from preschool or kindergarten, like, all the other kids were like crying, didn't want their parents to leave.
Erica's fine.
And I went over to my mom and I was like, why are you still here? Like, that has been my entire life. Like, I always wanted to have all this independence, and as the first girl, I was completely like, I lived a very sheltered existence for the most part. So my freedom came very late, but then when I got it, it was like, it was a bit insane. It was later in life. Yeah, it was out of control. Like, thank you, God, for letting me be here.
I have
today.
a vision of Erica like in Vegas, like.
There were very limited memories and experiences that I have not experienced.
I remember going away to start playing football in college, and I left 2 weeks early, right? And I remember we had triples, so this was 20 years ago. They don't work you as hard, but I couldn't even touch my knees, like when I got out of bed, like in the bunk bed. None of my friends were there. I was feeling very sad, and like, I don't know if I want to play football anymore as D3. And I called my mom, and she's like, stick it out.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm always for, and that's not tough love. That's just, she knew that I was going to be okay, right? But I feel like today, these days, everyone's like, I got you, baby, come home. And had my mom not had that conversation, she goes, just tough it out, I would not be the person I was because of that one moment.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's so interesting you said that, because I have a situation now in my family where someone's waiting for me to get them a ticket home from school because they don't want to be there anymore. And I have been delaying this week after week after week. It's been a month. Yeah. And I keep getting text messages, and I'm like, yeah, working on it. And I'm really
like, well, what flight are you booking?
Really not working on it, because I think he needs to tough it out.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
why don't you just tell him to tough it out, or you just don't want to go?
I have in a lot of different ways, but I think he needs to also understand that, like, he can't wait for someone to come to his rescue all the time, and I don't want to be that person that he believes that I'm going to do that every time.
Yeah.
Got it.
I called my mom saying I want out too, and she said, take a nap, go get some healthy lunch, right? And I didn't come home, and I'm better for it, but it was really scary. Like, really scary.
Healthy lunch?
Yeah, the healthy lunch is very specific.
I would say go get a pizza or something.
Yeah, I was so
Nobody
scared.
was eating healthy in college.
I know. It's like, what?
No.
It's the opposite of college. Go get yourself some ramen noodles and a pizza. All right. Are we getting this last story in? All right, cool. Is Tom Hanks being modest or truthful in his new book? The actor says he thinks he only made 4 pretty good movies. That's out of 85. I think he's being modest. He didn't reveal which ones he was referring to, but this got us thinking, what is our favorite Tom Hanks movie? Tori, let's start with you.
Huge Tom Hanks fan. Think he hasn't done a lot in the past 20 years that he could be proud of. I really don't. But going way back, I agree with...
What?
I think he's made not great movies in the last 20 years. The earlier Tom Hanks career is better. I say Apollo. Yes, you can ask me for a good movie in 20 years with Tom Hanks. Apollo 13.
All right.
Okay.
Erica, what about you?
I went with Catch Me If You Can.
That's a good. That was.
That was
my number
a great
two.
movie.
That was my number two.
It moves like the aesthetic. Yes.
And his character's fantastic. That was less than 20 years ago, wasn't it?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
And Lindsay, how about you?
I picked Castaway because I was really feeling emotional about the volleyball. Like, that was my friend. I was like, oh my God, no, oh my God, no. So that's like, it was getting crazy for me. And I knew it was a volleyball at the end of the day. And I still feel crazy for feeling all those emotions.
Well, imagine acting in that scene when you have no one to bounce, like we bounce things off of each other. Imagine your acting partner is a volleyball.
That's why I think he's so good.
Of course, he's the best. I don't know.
But no, according to Tori, the worst for the last 20 years.
No, he's a great actor. I don't think his pictures have been as good.
Jeff, which one did
Forrest
you?
Gump.
That's 20 years.
All right, wait, Jeff, what's yours?
Forrest Gump. I mean, how did not everyone say that?
1994.
Oh, I was talking to Colin about it this morning. He's like, come on, that's like the classic go-to. Everybody's going to say that.
So I wrote Megan this morning. I go, Forrest Gump, everyone's going to write that. I'll take Catch Me If You Can. That's what I wrote down.
I was going to go Forrest Gump because it's the last movie that I remember the entire family going to together.
In the theater, yeah.
In the theater.
Right.
And I went with Catch Me If You Can.
I was going to do Forrest Gump, too.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I just watched Pinocchio last night with my boys.
How was it?
It was good, man. Tom Hanks is classic. He's awesome.
Oh, Toy Story should be also brought up here. He is fantastic as the voice of Woody, which I think is one of his forts.
But that was in 1952, right? When he made that?
If you can name a good
The Da Vinci Codes, when were those?
Everyone at Tori because she's talking smack.
There's one guy you don't mess with in Hollywood. It's Tommy Hanks.
I think he's great. I don't think his movie choices have been great. What's the one with The Crown with Julia Roberts? It was terrible. Wow. You know the one I'm talking about? The Crown? Larry Crown Affair.
All right, coming up on DBL, our interview with the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond. Tori probably hates him. Phil Rosenthal. What's he up to now? Traveling the world as a foodie. We kind of what is he up to now? Well, we just told you. And our Brad Pitt and Emily Ratajkowski. Wow, really dating. They'll make some alien babies. Tori is breaking it all down for us in her new segment called Actually, and I Hate Tom Hanks.
No, I don't. That's not the title.
Closed captioning provided by...
Hey, just stopping by to say we're taking over. We're made of this. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over.
Hey, Tom Hanks.
Okay,
romantic comedy.
It's terrible. Yeah, and I confuse it with the Thomas Crown Affair. Original Steve McQueen, then Pierce Brosnan. Here's the thing. I don't think Tom Hanks is bad. I think his agent has been picking these crappy, like Elvis. He was like, we can see that you're Tom Hanks in a suit. It was weird. I just think the Castaway, the Forrest Gump, the Apollo 13, that run in the 90s, you cannot beat that Tom Hanks with anything that he's sort of done in the last 20 years. Am I wrong?
Even Tom Hanks can't beat Tom Hanks.
I think he's great in everything he does. He was Geppetto.
That's way more than 20 years ago. Yeah.
Wait, was Castaway more than 20 years ago?
Yes, of course. These are 90s.
Okay, 22 years ago.
No, but you guys don't realize how 20 years ago was actually quite...
Phillips. He wasn't great in Captain Phillips?
He was.
Great. I just think that name and... Yeah, that was okay. Okay.
Wait, you sound crazy.
How long ago was Captain Phillips?
2013. Less than 20.
It was 10 years ago.
It was 19, right? Am I counting?
It doesn't have the impact, the pop culture icon impact.
Captain Phillips was great, please.
No, but
I was scared to get on any boat after
like
that.
Saving Private Ryan, those things are, I don't know. I feel like the Polar Express and all that.
What movie has in the last 5 years? There's not really that many. I mean, Top Gun kind of brought it back, but in the last couple of years, there are no cultural movies that capture everyone's feelings. Because of just a divide, no one agrees on anything. So if I say, oh, I love Captain Phillips, everyone's like, you son of a, how do you like that movie?
I'm the captain.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk about these people, like, who are they?
Who?
Yeah, they're just like going on a rampage.
I don't know, who are they? Let's read all the names.
When I see the comments, I'm like, they're not going that hard. Jeff says, oh, Sky's blue. No,
again, I agree. I just don't think it's like the movie. welcome back. Is it hot in here? Are you guys hot? Because I am boiling up. Oh, wait. It's the topics we're discussing that have me all hot and bothered. But actually, are they even true? The topics? Brad Pitt and Matt Lauer. Well, one's hot, the other's just in hot water. But let's start with the one still allowed on a set, shall we? Rumor has it, Brad Pitt and Emily Ratajkowski are BF and GF. I introduce you to Ratajkowski. Is this true? Actually, it's semi-true. They've been spending a lot of time together, but no titles yet. Emily just, and I mean literally 2 weeks ago, filed for divorce from her husband after he allegedly cheated on her. Brad hasn't officially dated anyone in a while, and he's still in the midst of messy legal battles with ex-wife Angelina Jolie. So are they just friends? I don't know. Just feels like a lot of blurred lines. Perfect. Gossip rags are all ablaze with news that the hosts of the Today Show might have something to be worried about. The revenge of one Matt Lauer. Is this rumor true? Should the hosts cower from Lauer? Actually, this one is also true. It looks as though disgraced news anchor Matt Lauer is emerging from the grave he dug himself into by releasing a scathing tell-all book to get revenge on the people he said threw him under the bus. The top of that hit list, former co-hosts Katie Couric, Savannah Guthrie, and Hoda Kotb. But what? Hold up. What about Al Roker? Nope. Apparently for Matt Lauer, it's just the women he's interested in going after. Huh. How on brand. That's all for this week. We'll be right back.
Suffer from pain? You're not alone.
In March, President Biden signed an executive order allowing the Federal Reserve to explore the possibility of creating a centralized bank digital currency in the United States. Some people on social media have claimed that that executive order would make paper money worthless. Verify reader Jerry emailed the team to ask if President Biden's executive order would replace paper money with digital currency. So let's verify. Our sources are Executive Order 14067, the Federal Reserve, the Atlantic Council, a nonpartisan U.S. think tank, and Aaron Klein, Senior Fellow in Economic Studies at the Brookings Institute. President Biden's executive order does not have anything to do with paper money. It asks the Federal Reserve to figure out how to create a central bank digital currency. The digital money that you're used to, the ones with credit card purchases or transactions on apps like Venmo or Zelle, well, those are managed by commercial banks, not the federal government. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are also considered digital currencies, but they aren't issued or backed by a central bank. That wouldn't change under this executive order. Economics expert Aaron Klein confirmed to Verify that there is nothing in the executive order that ends or eliminates cash either. In a press release, the Fed said that a central bank digital currency could provide faster payment options between countries and safe digital payment options for households and businesses. The government has not yet decided whether to create a central bank digital currency. It's just asked the Fed to look into what it would take to create one. So we can verify that no, Biden's executive order does not replace paper money with digital currency. Around 100 countries, apart from the U.S., are already exploring national digital currencies. According to the Atlantic Council, Jamaica and Nigeria have already started offering centralized digital currencies. Both of those countries still have paper money. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Welcome back to DBL. He's the reason why everybody loves Raymond and the reason why you might have a new favorite food. Acclaimed producer and foodie Phil Rosenthal joined us with guest co-host Mary Lou Henner, and Phil also chimed in on our top picks for the most handsome man alive. Take a look.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little offended that I was not on anybody's list of most handsome.
You, Phil.
She
you didn't hear me.
You did?
Especially when you rolled in bed.
Yes.
I mean, okay, let me roll back. First of all, I'm here for it all. Somebody feed Phil. I am completely in. But I want to talk about your documentary because I never missed an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. So Exporting Raymond shares how Everybody Loves Raymond was remade in Russia. So what surprised you the most when you were on set in Russia?
Well, they invited me over there to turn my sitcom into Everybody Loves Kostya. And so I agreed to do this if I could film the whole thing. I think the most surprising thing is I was invited there because I'm supposedly an expert in that subject. I'm not an expert in anything else, mind you, but I think the show that I created, I know a thing or two about. But when I got there, they didn't want to hear from me at all.
Yeah.
And the movie, I think it's the funniest movie my family has ever seen because of how much I suffered.
They like your pain, Phil.
Yep. I think a lot of people do. I don't know what Phil, you just make me smile, and I think that's what you do for America.
Oh, sweet.
But I got to ask you, I'm such a huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. Why did Larry, for people that don't know, you were in, I believe the last season it was, why wouldn't he have lunch with you in that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm? Do you remember that?
Great episode.
I can't get out of it. It's Phil Rosenthal. He just, what do you do? How many times can you say no?
Well, I think because his character finds me annoying. And I think in real life, that could also be the reason why Larry and I have never had lunch.
I remember,
Thank you.
Phil, when we were all talking about, one night we were all sitting around talking about memory and stuff, and I told you about a primary track, like everybody remembers something especially well. And I said to you, oh, it must be Everybody Loves Raymond scripts. And you said, no, it's food. I remember every meal I've ever had. Whoa. And then the next thing I knew, you were doing your series about food.
Yeah.
So this was always in you. As a little kid, everything, you were always a foodie?
I loved food very much, but I didn't know what I was missing growing up in my house with my parents, neither of whom were chefs. They both worked. We didn't have a lot of money. Meat was a punishment. And it wasn't until I left the house, and especially when I went to Europe that first time when I was like 23, and I got to Paris, and I don't think I have to tell you that when you eat a croissant in Paris, or anything else for that matter, your head explodes.
Yep. Phil, you're going into season 6 of your hit Netflix food and travel show, Somebody Feed Phil, which we all love. What have you tried that surprised you the most?
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I ate a 1,000-year-old egg in Hong Kong. It's not really 1,000. It just tastes that way.
Was it horrible?
Yes. To me, I don't want to insult anybody who loves this thing, but for me, it tasted like very, very rotten egg. And then that was surpassed by this overwhelming tsunami of ammonia.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Old.
And then I meet people who say, oh, I love that.
Subjective, I guess. DBL Nation, you gotta watch season 6 of Somebody Feed Phil. It has returned to Netflix. Also, tune into Phil's new podcast, Naked Lunch, now streaming on all podcast platforms.
Yes.
Mary Lou, what a
Phil,
treat.
thank you so much for coming. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you back in LA.
I love you. Let's eat more.
I know.
And Phil, relax a little bit after this.
Take it easy. We'll be right back. Thank you, Phil.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Gas prices are continuing to drop from their record highs earlier this year. But this Facebook comment suggests the reason for that drop is political manipulation designed to give the party in power a boost ahead of the midterms. Other posts on social media have echoed that sentiment, suggesting gas prices go down before elections and then rise again after. So is there any validity to those claims? Do gas prices always go down before elections? To verify, we looked at historical data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration and Bureau of Labor Statistics and spoke with Ed Hers, an energy economics fellow at the University of Houston. The EIA has weekly data on gas prices going back to 1993. We isolated the periods before midterm and presidential elections, focusing on data from September through the first week of November. In 8 of the 14 years, gas prices declined, but in the other 6 years, prices rose. The BLS has monthly data going back to 1976, and though it's not as precise, it can still give us a broad look at trends. Of the 23 election cycles in that span, gas prices decreased in 15 and increased in 8. Energy economist Ed Hers says gas prices can sometimes dip in the fall as refiners move away from the more expensive formulations that are used in the summer. But it has little to do with politics.
We go to a less expensive formulation for winter gasoline. Second, there's less demand in the wintertime. You know, give or take driving to school, you're not driving to vacation. And so for a couple of reasons, you might see some sort of dip in the wintertime, and most elections, of course, occur in November.
He says other big factors lowering prices right now include below normal demand from China due to COVID restrictions and Russia's ability to export more of its oil than expected despite sanctions, increasing supply. The president also has the ability to increase supply somewhat by releasing oil from the strategic reserve. Biden has done that, but gas prices are affected by so many other factors that doesn't guarantee lower prices, let alone a drop timed for Election Day.
The president is at the mercy of the market.
So we can verify, no, gas prices do not always go down before elections. And if they do, it's the result of a wide variety of market factors. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Could who you are determine the best time to exercise? Let's connect the dots. Getting up and going any time of day is always a good idea, but a new study looked to see if your gender and the time of day made an impact on your workout. Researchers say everybody showed health benefits, but women burned more fat when they worked out in the morning, with a lot of that fat coming from the abdomen. They also lowered their blood pressure a lot more. Meanwhile, the women working out in the evening showed more strength gains, especially in the upper body. When it came to men working out, later in the day showed more health benefits. The evening exercisers significantly lowered cholesterol levels and burned more fat. For men looking to gain strength, any time of day helped them to put on muscle. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter answers your questions, clarifies what's true and false, and even includes a daily fun fact. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back. We live in Colorado, and believe it or not, our state is one of the top places for car theft next to California. But no matter where you live, we've got tips to help prevent it. That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. First, increase security around your car. This includes motion sensors, floodlights, and security cameras. Also, make thieves aware of this with signs. Next, increase security inside your car by installing a dash cam. Also, consider GPS monitoring and a wheel lock. Remember the club?
Yes.
Yes. And have a secure spot for your keys. The club just got a yes.
That club was so crazy. Oh, God.
Let's make sure you're properly insured against car theft. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with amazing auto protection plan experience that works with your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call today at 1-800-690-7547. The club threw me off. Remember that?
There was like a 3-step program to lock your car.
People still use the club in my neighborhood.
Really?
Really? Lock it and go.
Whoa.
That's, I think, the advertising.
That's not it at all.
I was close.
I never saw a commercial like that.
Oh, Tori, real fast. Go. Tom Hanks movies in the last couple of years. Bridge of Spies, Sully, Captain Phillips.
Sully?
Come on. Tom Hanks the best. Tori hates her. Bye.
Sully? Oh, wow.